wonderful day it is. It's Friday. It's Vision Friday. Welcome, 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 welcome. Come on in the room. Come on, come on, come on. Share, like, tell people that is in your Facebook group or just people you know, text, send them, let them know, hey, it's Vision Friday. I'd like to invite you all in. Thank you so very much for taking the time to come into the room today. I know everybody's busy. So I just want to say thank you. I'm Prophetess Kay of Broken Clay Ministry, Phoenix City, Alabama. And I'm so glad that you're here. You're so welcome. To find out more about Broken Clay Ministry, you can check us out on our website at brokenclayministry777.org. Or you can email us at brokenclayministry@gmail.com. Or you can check us out on YouTube, Broken Clay Ministry. Or you can Google us. Guess what? We even have a podcast. Come on in and share. Those are the platforms that we have at this time, and we would like for you to be a part of it and grow in our community. Again, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Well, today on this Vision Friday, we're going to bring some things to a conclusion. And what we've been talking about, and this is the fourth part, but it's the final part, but it's been under the series of Unworthy and Unvalued series that's been crushing the things that sabotage our growth and our vision. Crushing the things that sabotage our growth and our vision. But today, we're going to talk about money and your relationship with it and to it. Oh, that's big right there. Money and your relationship with it and to it. Now, many of us come from all sorts of dysfunction. Everybody got a dysfunctional family. Yes, we do. But guess what? In that dysfunction, we've dealt with, or we grew up with dysfunctions about what? Money. Money. I know I did. Have you ever heard the saying that says, girl, you must think money grow on trees? Did you hear that one? I did. Or did you hear, and we all know and we've heard about it from the standpoint of saying money is the root of all evil. Now, you know, in the church we've heard that, and a lot of that has come from just repeating without the knowledge and the understanding of where we are with a lot of things. But we all come from places or have dealt with as it relates to money, that is, it brings about fear, it brings about worry and scarcity. Not enough of it. Okay, we're in this place, and a lot of us are going through a lot of things, and I promise you it's not going to stay this way always. Just stay focused. But in the process of where we are as it relates to money, we all are going to have to make we have to learn some things. You know, it says that if we don't learn, we have a tendency to go around that tree, what, again and again and again. I won't talk about insanity because a lot of things that we're dealing with, it has nothing to do with anything that we did in the midst of this virus situation that we're in. But then some of the things that we're dealing with is simply because of that word, we can say preparation or lack thereof. Everybody, not just one person. I'm speaking to everybody, guess what? Including what? Myself. So when we look at that, and we're talking today about money and your relationship with it or to it, okay? Now, when we look at that word, and I said a minute ago about that money is the root of all evil. We're gonna go in the scriptures, and then we're just gonna hit a lot of things today. But it's Vision Friday, so I want you to see the vision, I want you to hear the vision, and I want you to move forward from just in the wholeness of what we're talking about today, what I'm speaking to you about. So when we look at that, and it says that the Word of God teaches that money is linked to a root, right? And that's according to 1 Timothy 6:10. Now, according to this version of the Bible, it's called the Faithful Version. It says, for the love of money is a root of all evil, by which some, while striving after riches, were subdued from the faith and have impaled, which means tortured themselves with many sorrows. When you look at other translations, as opposed to saying sorrow, it'd be saying with other pain or other griefs or other miseries. When they are running after the money is what it's saying. That is the root of all evil. When you take the word root and kind of begin to define it and, disseminate, we have to go back to it. It means the origin of a root. It's an origin, it's a source, and it's the beginning of something, the root, the root, the root. We're talking about today as it relates to you and how your relationship with money and how you look at the relationship with money and the origin of that relationship as it relates to money. Where'd you get that from? You get it from grandma, you get it from grandpa, you get it from your mama, your daddy, where you must think money grow on trees, meaning we have a look at money from a standpoint we learned it from the standpoint of somebody else's perspective about it. Okay? Now, so we looked at root and we said it's the origin, the source, and it is the beginning of something. A root attached to something. Okay, let's say the oak tree in your yard or a tree in your yard. You see the tree standing, but you don't see what's underneath. It's the part that's underneath that is the most important part, because the part that's underneath, the surface of it, is the most important part because it produces what you see on the top, correct? Now, when we get into the root and we go to the origin and we go to the basics and we go to the root at the bottom, the underneath, the beginning of it, the foundation, that's the word, the foundation of a thing. So when we look at the foundation of what your relationship with money, where did it come from? Why is it the way that it is? And what it is that maybe we need to take assessment of as we process today, as we end our fourth part of our series about value and undervalue. But we're talking about money, money, money. Okay. Have you ever stopped and listened at yourself talk about money? Have you ever listened to yourself as you're speaking? And you hear yourself making statements, like, my account is always overdrawn. Really? I can't afford to do nothing. I'm always struggling. Money changes people. People with money are evil. I am no good with money. Did you hear all that stuff? We define it as negative, 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 negative. If you keep speaking those things over yourself, you're making declarations over yourself, and guess what's going to happen? You will eat of it. It's happening. It's coming. It's coming. Because why? You're speaking it. You have the negativity, and where does that negativity come from? Go back to that root. It goes back to the part that's underneath. You're saying something. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm, correct? You're saying something that has nothing to do with what you're saying, but it has a lot to do with the root of the foundation, of the beginning of the origin of where it started from. Think about it for a moment while you sit there. While you have your cup of water or your cup of juice or, my favorite, I'm a Java girl. I love coffee as I do. So while you're sitting there, you're thinking about it. I want you to think about what I'm saying, because I'm not just saying something. I'm saying something that has value. I'm bringing you value this morning because I want you to begin to look at some things honestly about you, about myself, about you. Okay? Now, we're going to shift a few times. Let's shift. When I use the word now, I want you to shift. Because when we think about now means this present time. Now. Hebrew 11 teaches us about now faith. What happens? That when you walk into the now, that means you begin to move. You begin to move from a place. You got to move to another place. Okay? Now, while you are thinking about what I just said about the negative statements that are made, I want you to start thinking about, how do you see yourself based on what you speak? How do you see yourself based on what come out of your mouth? And what you're speaking, is it manifesting in your life? Have you stopped to think about that? Just think about that for a second. So you're speaking all that negative stuff. What's happening? If you're saying your account is overdrawn, that means you don't have any money, so you don't have any money. If you say that money must grow on trees, you don't have a money tree in your yard, so you don't have no money, so okay, you don't have no money. If you say, I'll never be able to do something, I'll never be able to buy a house, I'll never be able to buy a car, I'll never, never be able to do a lot of things. So as the negative begin to flow out of your mouth, what happened? The manifestation shows up, correct? Okay. So we have to be mindful of the things that we begin to speak. Okay? Now, when we look at the law of sowing and reaping, it's a kingdom principle. And the principality or the principal law is a kingdom law. The kingdom law is sowing and reaping, right? That speaks of Galatians 6 and 7. It says, don't be misled. You can't mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant. I'm speaking of words right about now. If you plant the negative words, you harvest that. Think about it. What are you saying? Perhaps what you're saying and speaking and your attitude and your relationship with money is manifesting in your life simply because that's what you're saying. That's the root of it, and that's what's happening. The root of an oak tree is an oak tree. It's an oak. Whatever the seed manifests, so what you're speaking is happening in your life. You cannot have an apple seed and get an oak tree. No, that's not happening. So your words are manifesting in your life as it relates to your relationship with money and how you look at money, the origin of how it came about, and what you continue to walk in. Is it attached to, rooted to something that you need to destroy? Because we're talking about things that you need to sabotage, that are sabotaging you, that you need to begin to sabotage. But the only way you're going to do that is you got to pay attention to some things. Sometimes we just talking. Sometimes I talk a lot, and my husband say, will you just stop talking? I do talk a lot. You know, girls have a minimum of 2,000 words to speak in a day. That's a female. 2,000 words. So if by the time the man get home, the woman still got words to speak. And the man done spoke all he need to speak. He don't have as many words to speak. So a woman have all these words because we have words. You go back to the garden, the word, Adam, where are you? And then what happened was Eve had to tell her, well, see, it was like this. Did what happened? And okay. Why? Because we're made differently, we flow differently, we function differently, and we have many, many words. But I want you to begin to think about those words that's coming out of your mouth. Are they life or are they death? What are you saying? What are you speaking? Right? Think about that. So you will always harvest both words and deeds based on what you say and what you do, and you walk in it. That's words and deeds. Be mindful of what you're saying. The negative view of money will negatively affect your vision. We're talking about vision. We're still talking about vision. So what you speak affect your vision, right? Money and your relationship with it and to it will affect your vision. You can have this great vision, but if your attitude toward money is bad, okay. All right, let's move on. Ecclesiastic 10:19 says, a feast is made for laughter, and wine make merry, but money answers all things. Whoa, what is the word all? What does all mean? It means all, right? So if I'm going to have a feast, I need some money, correct? We're coming up on the holiday of Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas coming up. Okay, to buy all that stuff to make a feast, it requires what? M-O-N-E-Y. Money. So, in order to have a feast, you need some money. In order to be merry, let's talk about wine. Wine makes merry. I didn't say drunk, merry. And then you got to take in consideration when it was written. Back in the time that it was written, they drank wine. They didn't drink water for the simple reason that wine settled the stomach. Wine settled the stomach with all the acids that was there. So wine was like a medicine. So it's merry like a medicine. It makes you merry, but it has a medicinal part to it that helps in a healing agent inside of it that goes against the acidity that is in your body. But it says that money answers all things. There isn't anything really that you can do that do not require money, right? I want to go to the store. I need money to buy gas. I need money to have a car. I need money to buy insurance. I want to cook. It takes money to buy food. Money answers all things. I didn't say the love of it. Those are two different realms. But we're talking about money. We're talking about perspective. We're talking about your viewpoint on a thing. We're talking about you and your root of where it comes from that may be sabotaging your life, your vision, your dreams, your desires, money. Let's shift again. I'm using the word now one more time. Now I want to I want you to take a deep breath, and we're going to talk about assessment of things, of how you think of money. Let's assess some things. Okay? We talk about now. Remember, now is when? Now. Okay. Yes, money answers all things, but how do you really think of money? And do you think you are worthy of it? Wow. See, if you have a bad or negative mindset about money, then it deals with the value and worth of money. You may not think you're worthy of it. Well, I got enough. I just, hey, I just want to pay my bills. That's all you want? That's it. You want to just pay bills. That's it. That's all you want. Okay. See, that's an internal question about you as it relates to money. Do you dream? When we was children, we did daydreaming. Do you do any of that? That requires you to move not only in faith, but also in imagination to see yourself beyond where you are. I tell my husband, hey, and he'll tell you, I dream a lot. I dream big. I do. And guess what? I finally got to the point in my life I don't make no apologies for it. None. Because I have value and worth with myself. And I'm good with me. You have to become good with you. Everything in balance. I didn't say the running after anything, but I'm saying I've always been a dreamer. I've always had imagination. You need to tap into that if there's a problem going on. But we're talking the assessment to look at some things to make an assessment of how you think about money. What's the root? Where it came from? Did you get it from somebody else? And now their scarities and their fears and their scarcities that they won't ever have enough. I shared with my husband the other day about my mom. My mother was a master with money. Oh my God, that lady was BAD. But guess what? She didn't teach principles. You better pay your bills. Why do I need to pay my bills? Your name is tied to a lot of things. My mom, I call her a stockpiler. She's no longer with me, but she's with me in spirit. She's always with me. My mom loved the grocery stores. She had a fetish with food. She always went to every grocery store in town because everybody had a sale. You got to go over to Piggly Wiggly for the chicken. You got to go to Harvest for that Dixie Crystal Sugar. And then you got to go to Food Line finally came in the city. So now you got to go over there and they got LeSueur peas. She loved LeSueur peas. So you got to go to all these places and get all this stuff. And at any given time, I shared with my husband, we had 50 pounds of sugar. Those are 5-pound bags. That's 10 of them, right? It's like, really? Well, I didn't come from a large family, but my mother, it was rooted with some things. Yes, she saved money. My husband said, well, she knew how to shop and save money. But a lot of that stuff, let's go back to the deep freezers, sure. They had all this meat in it, And she constantly put it on top, put it on top, put it on top. So the part on the bottom didn't get used. So what we had to do when we had to clean out the freezer, we threw away a lot of food. Is that really saving money? No. It's called stockpiling, but it's linked to something. The Holy Spirit said that it was linked to a fear of poverty. That's a poverty spirit. You got to understand things as it relates to roots and where it come from, the origin. Yeah, you can buy all this stuff, but you act as if you're never going to get anything ever, never again. I understand being wise. Oh, we'll circle that word. Wise. What does it really mean? Was that really wise when I throw away my money because I didn't use it? Nor did I give it to anyone to use it. But I had it. Selah moment. Think about that. Is that you? Are you doing any of those things? Stop it. But it's rooted in something. Look at it. Look at it. Make some assessment. Remember, we're talking about assessment. We're talking about assessment. Are you worthy for money? Or you're not? Think about that. When I was a little girl, my grandmother, she said all sorts of things, I tell you. My grandma was, oh my God, she said all kind of things. Don't worry about the mule being blind, just hitch it up. What in the world? But she was smart. She made a statement. She said, you prepare for war in the time of peace. I don't know if you ever heard that. Prepare for war in the time of peace. I heard it. Little girl, I don't have a clue what Granny talking about. She's saying something over there. I don't know what Grandma talking about. Okay. Today we talk about money and your relationship with it and to it. When I started on this series, I thought about Granny. And I thought about what she said. Prepare for war in time of peace. Okay, as I got a little older, I kind of began to like, yeah, okay, all right. Prepare for war in time of peace. Why I got to be in peace and I'm thinking about war? Am I supposed to be in peace or am I supposed to be in war? What am I doing? Okay. Oh, God, I can get silly sometimes. But anyway, it's good. It's Vision Friday. What day is it, people? It's Vision Friday. That saying, which is, she said it incorrectly, but there was a writer back in 1494, 15th century, somewhere back there. His name was Niccolo Machiavelli. Niccolo Machiavelli. He wrote a book, and the book was entitled The Prince. And in that, he said, the correct quote says, in time of peace, prepare for war. In time of peace, prepare, big word, for war. Now, that speaks of what? Preparation. What are we doing today? We are making some preparations on some things as we move forward, but we're also making some assessments on some things that are behind us or at the now point that we are moving from into because we are beginning to do some homework. I'm one of those people. I believe in homework. I believe in reading. I believe in assessment. I believe in learning. I'm an always forever girl that wants to learn. Is that you? Let's learn some things. Now, in preparing for your vision of life, marriage, career, ministry, or any area of your life, whatever your vision is, money is a key factor in the operation of it. It takes money to run a house. It takes money to run a ministry. It takes money to run a business. It takes money to rear your children. It takes money. It answers all things as it relates to where we are in the earth and the system on the earthen realm. This is it. It takes money from that. So in order to move forward in our vision, we must continually make an honest assessment of some areas. Number one, who you are. Who are we? Who are you? Who are you as it relates to money? Where are you in your growth as it relates to money? And addressing all things that are causing an impasse in moving into your God-ordained future and your vision. Was that a lot? Okay. We must continually make an honest assessment of who you are. I'm going to just talk to you. Assessment of who you are, where you are in your growth, and addressing all things that are causing an impasse in moving into your God-ordained future. What's blocking you? What's your blockage? Impasse, blockage. What's in your way? Is it you? Is it your old ways and the roots that goes back to how we were reared or things that was said to us? I told you about my grandma. What she said, a lot of stuff I ain't understand, but a lot of things as you get older, you kind of start repeating stuff. You become a parakeet. You repeat stuff. You don't have no understanding of what it means. Some of it is wisdom, but it's the lack of wisdom that we're moving forward. You need wisdom in this hour concerning your life, concerning every part about you, even the part that deals with wisdom. What is wisdom? Is wisdom stockpiling that freezer with so much stuff that if the power go out, okay, look, God, you have some insurance, you can replace it. But let's say that the power don't go out and you got a freezer full of all of this good food you didn't use because you keep putting it on top, putting it on top, putting it on top. So what's under the bottom is not used. You spent the money for it. Now it's freezer burn and you got to what? Discard it, throw it away. Put it in the garbage can. Is that wisdom? Nah, it's not. That's a waste of money. Now, be honest with yourself, about yourself and your flaws, your warts, your bumps, your everything. Then what? Take an assessment, and then what we're going to do? We're going to submit it all to the Lord. We're going to write it down. I'm a person, I believe in writing. Even Habakkuk say, write the vision. Write that stuff down. Get you a journal. Go to the store. Go to the 99-cent store and buy you a composition book. Or you can go beautiful and go and spend more money, but 99 cents will do. And you begin to take some assessments about yourself as it relates to money. Where are you? What you doing? What thoughts maybe are manifesting in your life that you are speaking out of your mouth, where you casually open it up and flap it, saying nothing but speaking, we won't say blessings, so what's the opposite of that? Curses into your life. You cannot have an apple seed and say, oh, that's an oak tree. No, not so. Take some assessments. That's what we're talking about. Money and your relationship with it and to it. How do you view money? Where are you with the money? Now, speaking of preparation, when we go to the Word of God in Proverbs 30 and 25, where it talks about, Proverbs 30 and 25 through 28, they're talking about there are 4 small creatures that is on the earth, okay? But today we're only going to talk about one. The 4, the ant, the locust, the hyrax, and the lizards. But we're talking about one today, and that's Proverbs 30 and 25. It talks about the ant, okay? We all know ants can be a nuisance. You ever had just ants? They just everywhere. But they have a vision. They have a plan. They have a queen. They have organization. They have preparation. They have plans. They have a system. They may be annoying to you, but guess what? They're working like little ants. They can pick up so much weight bigger than them, their body weight, and they can carry it back, and what they do with it? They make preparations for something. They are preparing. Now, this small creature, talking about an ant, is small, but it's extremely wise. Remember, we talked about wisdom as it relates to your money, as it relates to planning, as it relates to everything about what you're doing. Wisdom. These ants have wisdom. They're small, but they have wisdom. So don't despise the small beginnings in your life. If we change, we may not have a lot of money. No, we may not be a billionaire yet. But whatever it is you have, don't despise that. Be grateful for what you have. Some people don't have that, right? Be grateful, have a spirit of gratitude. But what this ant does, he's small, but he works with wisdom. They have little strength, but they are mighty at storing up, planning, preparation, and building something of great value for the upcoming season of their life. Oh, did you catch it? The upcoming season of your life will require you to have moved into a place of preparation and planning. Some places of assessment, reassessment to align. We've been in 2020, it's been a year of nothing but reset, reboot, realign, readjust, redoubt, everything. Relearn. There's a saying that says that the illiteracy of the 21st century will not be in the ability to read a book. It will be in the ability to learn, relearn, and unlearn. Can you learn, relearn, and unlearn something? As it relates to your money, as it relates to the power of your money, okay? Wealth is more than money. Wealth, having a wealthy mentality, the Bible speaks of wealth, having a wealthy mentality deals with your soul, your mind, your will, decisions that you make, and your emotions of how you operate in things. If you're just doing stuff and your soul is not healed toward moving forward in learning, relearning, unlearning, things of the past that is not helping you so that you can move into this new season of your life, then you're stuck. That's where that impasse come in. Remember that word? Impasse. You can't move. You got blockage. That's like a beaver dam. What a beaver do? He impasses. He block it up, he blocked the dam. And when he blocked the dam, that means nothing can flow out or come in. Think about that. Money. Money. I was speaking to a financial advisor the other day, and he gave me 3 points as it relates to wealth building. We're still talking about money. We move from it's a difference between having money and being wealthy. Wealthy is in body, soul, and spirit, and your money. He says 3 things to pay attention to. Now, this is according to a financial advisor, so he's giving you information from the standpoint of how to operate in this system of the world. Pay yourself 1/10 of all of your income. Okay, in the kingdom of God, we pay God first, 1/10. We don't, we contribute, but okay, 1/10, tithe. Tithe to God and tithe to yourself, 1/10. Put that money in a savings account. Put that money aside, 1/10. He said that's the first thing you do, but you put it in income and you also do it as toward investment. This is a financial advisor that's talking about your money. Number 2, live on less than you earn so you will not become a slave to your job or others. Remember it says that you are a lender and not a borrower, so you won't become a slave to your money. That ties a little bit. In kingdom principle is a principle, remember that. The 1/10 of a tithe is a principle. Okay. And he says avoid high interest debt. Credit card got 26% interest, 30% interest, and all of that. But see, when we learn to operate in our money, that means that guess what? Our name is great. We pay our bills. We can do those things. And therefore, we can move into those 0% interest offers that they send to you that you can have them for 15 months, 18 months, 21 months, pay 0%. Use somebody else's money. That's a system of money. It's not about using your money. It's learning how to tap into a system where you use other people's money. Selah. Wealth is not about how much money you have, but the lifestyle you can have without having to sacrifice your time for money. That's what that financial advisor said. You're getting into a point that you're beginning to operate and move into streams, income, money coming. But it's knowing how to operate in systems. And how do we learn to operate in systems? We have to learn to relearn, unlearn new things. We have to learn to move in environments where something is being taught differently than what we already know. When you go back to Genesis and you talk about the Garden of Eden, there was rivers and streams that flowed out of there. And guess what? Those are the streams of life. Those are the streams of increase. Those are the streams of abundance. Go back and check it out. It's there. Now, the root as it relates to money is linked to one's environment, upbringing, and behavior. Isn't that what we've been talking about? Your environment, your upbringing, and your behavior. Money can adversely or positively affect your life, but it's all tied to how you see money based on your environment, your upbringing, and your behavior. So we got to go back and deal with some stuff. Okay. That brings us today. I want to talk about 3 books, and I just want to present them to you. I want you to write them down, but I want you to also go and read them. You can read the paper as far as the physical book, or you can some of this stuff you can go on YouTube, put it in there, and the book will be read for you. How about that? Or you can do audible, or you can download the book on your Kindle. The first book I want to bring to you today is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is by Robert Kiyosaki. This is a paperback. You can buy it in hardback or however. That's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I highly recommend this book. I read this book back in the 90s, but it's amazing. You need to read this book. What is it? I'm going to give you some pointers on this book, just a few. Because today we talk about money, but we also talk about getting in a place that you need to make some assessments of your mindset. Where are you? So that you can open yourself up for the new season that is coming in your life where the abundance will flow. But we got to change. Some people already felt that you got to change because we've been dealing with it all year. You're like, okay, what happened before? I cannot operate in that system. It's a whole new system. The re is gone. Some of that stuff you need to already be there is done. It's already calibrated. It's already adjusted. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Give you a couple of principles on this. This story is about an analogy of pulling the difference between having a rich father and having a poor father. We're talking mindsets now. The rich dad was the one that had the idea that you need to be position yourself to become a business owner. Position yourself that you can open yourself up for streams of income. Positioning yourself that you are not in a place ever, never again that you become a slave to a job or a slave to an employer, that you're not working on developing some skills for yourself. Awesome, isn't it? Principles. Okay? This book talks about assets. Assets. You know, when you deal with business, you deal with assets and liabilities. Assets are things of value and money. Income coming in. Liability is paying that mortgage, that car note, the insurance. It's things that go out of your income. You bring in whatever your check is a month, based on, you know, whatever that is, and your outgo is your liabilities, those things that you have to pay. So he talks about developing and understanding asset building. That's where wealth is. Wealth is asset building. Assets. I'll tell you in a minute. When you deal with business, you deal with income statements, you deal with balance sheets, and assets will go on those kind of sheets. Banks will look at them, or finance companies, or whomever will look at them, and they'll see where are you. Are you worth more than you owe out? Bottom line. Okay, so when we talk about assets, those accounts receivable, how much money you have coming in? What are your streams of income? How many checks you got coming in? Or will come in, because they're coming. Don't despise the small beginnings, because where you are now, you will not be in this place again, because you're going to do the work, right? You're going to do the work. So those are your account receivable, money's coming in. And also if you own land and it's paid for, you own a house and it's paid for, those are assets. You own buildings, it's paid for. You own machineries or equipment and it's paid for. Those accounts, your car is paid for, those are assets, those things that you have some value. If I decide to sell it today, guess what? That's money to me. Assets, money coming in. Now, the other part of that is also financial literacy he talks about. We got to learn about money. Financial literacy. We go to school and we can go back and we dropped out of school and we go back and get a GED and we do the literacy classes to learn so that we can move forward. We get that. We didn't get a high school diploma, but we got a GED. We went back and we did what we need to do. Now we got to do financial literacy. You got to learn some stuff, people. All of us. We're in a whole nother world. Do you want to be caught like this ever again without learning how to handle money and understand that there's a root to it? But the question is, where's it coming from? Okay. So that's what that book deals with. It deals about a lot of stuff on that. And it's basically talking about money, but it uses an analogy of, if your father, that's all your mom and dad tell you, get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job. He considered, that's Robert Kiyosaki, considered that part as being the poor dad suggestion. Because jobs, as we learned this year, they could go away like that. But if you have the mindset of developing something for yourself, all your gifts and talents and treasures are on the inside of you. What do? You can bake a cake? Okay, that's a business. You cut grass? Well, okay, that's a business. You can do IT work? That's a business too. Make it work for yourself. Put it into a tool. Make it work. It's a business. It's an idea. My husband is the best barbecuer in the world. He just retired, guys. Guess what's happening? Coming soon. Give us a little bit. Yeah, he's shaking his head now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The second book I want to talk to you about is We Need to Talk. A memoir about wealth. And this is a new book that just came out this year. And it's by Jennifer Risher. That's Risher. 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 And that's We Need to Talk. A memoir about wealth. We Need to Talk. A memoir. MEMIOR. About wealth. That's the second book. Well, we're talking about roots, okay? We talked about how people, their environment, and how they grew up, and what their parents said to them about money. Girl, you must think money grow on trees. This book about this lady, Jennifer Risner, she talks about her struggle as it relates to from the past of how her parents looked at money. And she was truly blessed back in the time where she's a marketer. Her background was marketing. She went to school, she got a college degree. She wanted to do marketing. And that was her goal. She ended up landing a job with Microsoft. And then she went from Microsoft to Amazon. Really? She grew and she learned and she had to deal with what that wonderful word called stock options. They were given to her because this was at the ground floor of the setup of Microsoft and Amazon. What? Do you know how much that stock is worth now? Well, they was at the ground floor. They didn't have all the money to pay them. They said, but if you stick with us, as our stock grow, we're going to give you stock. That's money, people. We talk about an asset. That's serious money. So she grew up from a standpoint of having to deal with her challenges as it related to her thoughts about money. She grew up with some bad thoughts. She came from a middle-class family, but she grew into being a multimillionaire and not knowing what to do with it. Can you imagine? You say, what a problem to have. I got all this money and I don't know what to do with it. But see, she paints the picture in her book. It's showing that when you get wealthy, things shift and change for you too. The people that you knew that are not wealthy now look at you differently. You saying, but I'm still me. And they're saying, but we can't hang with you. In the book, it talks about her friend wanted to take their children to Cirque du Soleil. That's something you got to go see too. Amazing. Got to go see it. Okay. Cirque du Soleil. So Cirque du Soleil, they wanted to take the kids to Cirque du Soleil, but they didn't want to invite her because they're like, we can't afford front row seats because it's very expensive. So they wanted to be with their friend, but they couldn't afford to be with her. So they're saying, we can't afford, because that's where you're going to want to put your children, and we can't afford those kind of tickets. What happened when you outgrow your people or your family around you because you're now wealthy? Money is coming to it. What do? They look at you differently. So she's talking about when you get wealthy, see? Money answers all things. Now you got the money, and it's like, wow, I don't even fit in. These are the people I know. I'm still the same me. I just got a tremendous, large bank account. That's a book to read. The third book that I want to suggest is called The Richest Man in Babylon. You may have read that. Anybody in marketing and sales, you should have read this. And it is by George S. Clayson. The Richest Man in Babylon. That's the book. The third book I'm suggesting to you. And out of this book, some of the pointers that he used is The Richest Man in Babylon is the name of this book. Hope you can see it. Some of the pointers that he puts out there, he goes back to invest 10% of your total assets. Make this a habit and start it as soon as possible. The sooner, the better. If you have little children now, okay, I got some things to share with you on that. Or just wherever you are, start now. Start a savings account, put it there. Or I got something else to tell you about. Okay. He says, control your expenses, your outgo. You know, those bills, those liabilities. Don't keep going to the mall spending money that you don't need to. Don't keep going out to eat when you don't really need to. Nothing else we learned in 2020 is how to cook and how to stay home in some instances. I'm not saying not do it, but I'm saying take that money. For example, there used to be a time I loved Starbucks. And I used to, every morning I had to go to Starbucks and buy myself, I told you I'm a Java girl. And I would buy me a decaf coffee with soy milk and caramel macchiato. Yes. Ooh, I did it every day. So you imagine $5. That's what I say, $5. $5 times 5 days a week. And sometimes I went on a Saturday, but mostly 5 days because Starbucks was right up the street from the office that I worked. That's $25 whole a week. Do the math. Times 4 is what? $100 a month. 100. I'm spending on a freaking cup of coffee. Time times 12, that's $1,200 a year on some coffee. You better get a coffee pot, girl, and buy you some caramel macchiato cream out the grocery store from Sam's. We're talking about money. I had to do that. Now, if I wanted to sometimes just, treat myself, yeah, I did that. But every day, some of those things we're doing, we need to take an assessment of where we are. So we control our output. Wherever you need to cut your fat, cut your fat. Cut your fat. Cut the fat, Granny said. Cut that fat. Cut it off. And the other thing is invest in things that you are knowledgeable about. Don't just do things simply because. Don't invest in, if you know nothing about Bitcoin, don't invest in Bitcoin because you don't know nothing about Bitcoin. What you know about? Put your money there. You know about Procter & Gamble. You wash clothes, you wash dishes, you do all them things, right? You know about that. That's the stuff. Don't put your money somewhere you have no clue about what you're doing. Just don't do it. Don't do that. And the other thing of it is keep learning and always keep growing. Don't become stagnant. Stagnation is that impasse, is that beaver dam. You don't move any further. Nothing can go out and nothing can flow in. It's like going in that closet today, this weekend, and clean out that closet. Get rid of some of all that stuff. Because some of all that stuff you don't need, you ain't gonna never wear it again. You can have a yard sale. That could be a few dollars. Guess what? Could be your starter, your kickstart to your savings account from that standpoint. So those are things you always want to learn. I gave you some books because what the objective is to learn. Go to YouTube. You can learn something new. Put something in your mind. The mindset has to change. In order, even in the kingdom of God, Jesus said you got to get a mindset. You got to get his mindset. You got to understand something that's dealing with your soul. Your soul has to change. The other thing is on the Richest Man in Babylon book, he says, guard your income from fatal loss. He said, buy insurance. That's a segue for me because that's one of the markets. My son and I have just launched an insurance agency. And what we're doing finances. And other finances called, if you can check us out on our website, TAGagency.org. TAGagency.org. And it's about learning some things. As it relates to insurance, we buy insurance for our house, we buy insurance for our cars. And then we need to look at, there's so many different types of life insurance. We talk about wealth laid up. We talk about generational wealth. Generational wealth comes in many ways, but one of the ways is through insurance, right? Life insurance. We keep talking about waiting to the last minute to buy insurance and it's only for death. I just need something to bury me. But every generation starts at zero. That's another story. But what I'm saying is check out the website. If we can do, hey, go out there. Set an appointment. We'll talk one-on-one. But the thing about it is, what is your look on money? How do you view money? Is it sabotaging your future? Is it sabotaging your vision? Where is it? What are some of the things that are on the inside of us that we really need to deal with, that we need to write it down? Remember the vision. Write it down. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And those are things that we're in prayer, of taking it to the Father through prayer and asking him to help you. But mostly opening up yourself also to learn something, read something new. Environment change. If you keep swimming in the same little bitty pond, then that's it. Move over. Let's get to the river. Let's get in the flow of things. Genesis talk about the flow. It talk about the rivers. It talk about the streams. It talk about water. It talk about mist. All of those things are streams of life. Streams of life. I hope I said something today that has caused you to do a Selah. Think, look at it, read. Just move in this new season. I'm speaking of your new season of increase, your new season of life, your new season of the new people coming into your life. The new season of change is already here. It's already here. So I just decree nothing but goodness over you as you move forward, that you open up your soul, your mind, your will, and your emotions to move forward. Learn something new. Get in a new circle. Get with somebody know a little bit more than you, that they can teach you something, show you something, guide you, and help you. You don't always want to be the one they run to. And if so, there is a problem there. Let's grow and expand so that we can move into all that God has for you in your vision. Your vision. I'm Prophetess Kay of Broken Clay Ministry. And I want to leave you with one thing. And that is, I want you to have a great day. And have a great day.